known across the world as a forbidden land, today it has become China's laboratory of repression, a hunting ground of sorts for Xi Jinping's policy of so-called ethnic assimilation. We've reported on it several times on this show. Tonight, we come to you with more proof. A new report says that China has set up torture camps in Tibet, high-security detention facilities that are being used to hammer Tibet's unique identity and alter the Tibetan way of life. We've heard this story before. The report has been compiled by the RAND Europe Research Institute. It conducted a nighttime analysis of satellite imagery from Tibet, and the findings are striking. There are at least 79 detention facilities across the Tibet Autonomous Region. They most likely provide low-level detention and short-term jail functions. These facilities show patterns of growth in nighttime lighting since the year 2019, and this trend may suggest a shift towards longer detentions and nighttime labor. Take a look at this map now. It claims to show the exact locations of these camps. There are at least 10 high-security prisons, mostly located in Tibet's Ningtiri prefecture. 4 high-security detention centers, mostly in the Chamdo and Nangchu prefecture. And more than 24 low-security detention centers that are spread across Shigatse, Loka, and even Tibet's capital, Lhasa. So what exactly happens inside these camps? Well, this is what the report doesn't tell us. But there's enough evidence from the past to give us a sense. Like these pictures. China's state media published them in 2020. These are Tibetans. They are dressed in military fatigue. One of them shows men practicing painting. Another photo shows Tibetan women. They are being trained to become restaurant waitresses. But why do they wear military fatigues? Who is training them? Drill sergeants from the People's Armed Police. This is a Chinese paramilitary organization. It is responsible for internal security, riot control, anti-terrorism, disaster response and law enforcement. Surely the Chinese paramilitary is not there to simply teach Tibetans life skills. Let me be clear, this is about crushing the opposition against the Chinese state. My point is simple. China would have you believe that these Tibetans are undergoing so-called vocational training. But the world knows better. The world has heard this before and seen this before. Remember how Muslims are being trained in Xinjiang. They are being crushed, rewired, brainwashed to toe the Communist Party line. By all means, the same is happening in Tibet now. Reports say these centers are places unlike anywhere on earth. Tibetans here are subjected to political indoctrination. They are forced to memorize communist principles. Those who disobey are tortured. They face solitary confinement. They are left without food, water and sleep. Is this vocational training? They are released only when they succumb, of course, to beliefs of communism and atheist China. But a release doesn't mean that they're set free. It means they are put in an open jail. They cannot celebrate their festivals. They cannot wear their traditional dress. And they can't even think about traveling abroad. Many of them don't even have passports. Getting a passport is harder for a Tibetan than getting into heaven. These are not my words. This is what Human Rights Watch reported in 2015. What about international support? Do they get any? The answer is no. China has cut off any international support for the Free Tibet movement. It goes after anyone and everyone who speaks about it. It doesn't matter who they are. For example, the case of Lady Gaga. In 2016, she met with the Dalai Lama in Indianapolis. How did China respond? It banned Lady Gaga. The singer was added to a list of hostile foreign forces. China is cracking down hard on Tibetans the world over. According to a report, China secured a contentious extradition treaty with Nepal 2 years back. One of the proposals includes the extradition of newly arrived Tibetan refugees from Nepal. The agreement was widely opposed, but the Chinese managed to clinch the agreement in secret. China also hires spies to snoop on Tibetans abroad. This report came out in 2020. An officer of the New York Police Department was accused of spying on Tibetans for China. And those who remain in Tibet are forced to become more Chinese. According to multiple reports, there has been a large influx of Han Chinese into Tibet. The Chinese state uses them to promote interracial marriage. And in return, it offers incentives. Yes, China has adopted a series of policies that are favorable for mixed couples. They get social security, reproductive rights, vacations, prizes, and special treatment for their children, like education, assurance of employment, and even a membership of the Communist Party. The Chinese state media is used to push such stories and promote these marriages. It's all about an agenda. And you think that's bad? Then have a look at this report now. China is gathering DNA samples across Tibet. The Chinese say it is part of a crime detection drive which will be used for inspection, investigation, and mediation. But is that really what China wants? Is that China's actual plan? Not really. Reports say that China aims to use this database to identify not just dissents, but also their families, even their close relatives. Not just that, they say, through this database, the Chinese state can track the families of Tibetans through generations. Imagine that. The list of China's atrocities is slightly longer, but you get my point. The Chinese state is hammering Tibet's unique identity and diluting the ethnicity of Tibetans. All the reports and instances that we just told you about form just the tip of the iceberg. God knows what kind of crimes are lying submerged beneath it.